What's going on, guys? Long time no see. Welcome back. Crazy for KV's RC. I'm Tim. Thanks for watching. We're back out here with the Optic. This is actually going to be the last installation of me trying to make the Optic into a rock crawler. Took a little break from it. Just got busy doing other things, but I did make a few changes in hopes to squeeze out as much crawling performance as possible. So one of the things you guys will notice is I obviously have some new wheels and new tires on there. They're actually not new. I've had both of them. The wheels are from Super Shafty. They're Ospreys. They're the narrow ones. I'll link those down below. They're a 2.2-inch wheel, and those are wrapped in. Logan sent me over some custom cut and shut tusks, and he made those before J Concepts came out with kind of their version of that. Sent those to me, I think last year, maybe around this time, to use for a Sorca Class 3 build. Hopefully I will get out and get to use that at some point. But for now, we know that tusks do really well out here at the lake. That's obviously where I'm at. And the weather's perfect. It's cool. The water's really low. There is a little bit of wind. So if you guys hear some wind noise, I apologize. Not gonna be a crazy long video. We're gonna jump right into it once I finish going over the truck. So we got new wheels, new tires, and those have squid inserts as well. So kind of a custom insert for that tire. Try to squeeze as much out as possible. I have driven these tires, taking it out with a few different vehicles with this setup, and they do great. The only other thing I changed I actually got from the comments, so thanks y'all for commenting. Continue to give feedback, give advice, give suggestions. I appreciate all that. I don't claim to be an expert, just someone who loves the hobby. But a few of you commented that Deluxe Fab has some brass knuckles, very heavy brass knuckles designed for AR-44s, and they fit right on the H10 Optic. They bolt right to that H10 axle. The only thing you have to do is you have to buy an additional arm, and that's because the way this axle is set up with the servo connected to the axle behind the axle, and then that faux hydraulic ram steering, tie rod up front. So I think it was like a $5 extra part. Honestly, pretty reasonable for the brass even. Pretty good finish on them. The fitment's great. I don't remember the exact weight. I apologize. You guys will see it at the bottom of the screen here. And you guys will also see corner scale weight. We finally broke that 60-40 that we were going for. A 60% front weight bias, and we were actually at 61-39. So pretty good. Definitely getting up there with a flat rail, kind of Class 2 style competition truck as far as weight distribution. The weight definitely does still sit higher because of that molded cage and some of the details you get. But I did take quite a bit of those out. Really the only thing I could have taken out that's still in there is that interior, which is a molded hard plastic interior. But those are the updates on the truck. No changes to power, no changes to gearing. Servo's the same. So I just laid 7 gates down. I pre-ran those with my VRD. A couple of them were fairly challenging for the VRD. Took multiple tries. So the H10 will get multiple tries as well. Not really a comparison between those two. One reason I like to drive the VRD is, I know it's a very good performer, and it's a truck I drive very well personally. Kind of makes me look as good of a driver as I can. Another reason is it's what I use in our local Georgia comp series. So the most drive time I can get out of that, the better. So we're gonna go throw the H10 on the rocks, and we're gonna see if it'll run through these 7 gates that the VRD already cleared. No matter what, this is gonna be the last of the crawling version of this truck. I'm ready and excited to kind of make it into something else, something I think it's a little better suited for, but let's go hit it. All right, like I said, I apologize if the wind's too bad, I'll do a voiceover. Hopefully I don't have to, because that just means it'll probably take me longer to get this out. I said we're not keeping score, nothing like that. We're trying to see if this thing will pull off some lines that a very capable, flat rail will pull off. We are really not getting great steering out of it. I didn't mess with the steering link at all. I think some people have had to adjust it with those knuckles. And obviously you guys you guys can use your judgment if you think it's a steering issue. There's definitely some things that can be done to this truck to make it steer better. So if that's the case, then we'll acknowledge that. But no issues with the first one. The VRD kind of walked through that, but really no rhyme or reason to how I laid these out. I kind of just threw them down. There's no good flow to it. So, but I got 7 gates. I got a little bit of time, so we'll just kind of walk and talk. We got a big vertical climb here for gate 2. The VRD actually had trouble with this one. The water is kind of recently very down, so this rock is quite dirty. No boundaries or nothing like that, so we're going to use all of what we have to get through the same gates. And I just use the gates really to kind of guide the truck where I need to. Oh wow, all right, so longer wheelbase, maybe bigger tires, obviously different wheel tire setup. I mean, the vehicle is totally different, but it got through that so much easier than my VRD did. So, and that's something the H10 should be better at in this configuration. It should be a great vertical climber, long wheelbase, and we got a lot of weight up front now. Nice overcast day, so usually I'm pretty bad with planning around shadows when I'm laying some gates down. So hopefully ends up being a good video and the wind doesn't ruin the audio too much. We're cruising through this. This is going pretty well so far. All right, this next one's, it's kind of a side hill, but you got to hang one tire up there. So kind of the key is to not let that rear come off. Okay, so top heavy. Let's try it again. This is really the first one I was kind of thinking maybe this one wouldn't do. Just the lack of portals, the clearance, you know, that when you're hanging you're kind of grinding your front axle right at the knuckle. That gate's really, really wide. Very, very generous. Okay. We have it a couple more tries here. Weather's cooling off. Anybody getting out and anybody kind of been suffocated by the heat where they live, and now all of a sudden you can kind of get out and enjoy maybe some of the stuff you've been building all winter or all summer. I think I've definitely said before, I do a lot more driving in the winter around here. And it gets decently cold here, not compared to a lot of places, but cold enough your fingers get numb and you gotta decide if you want to try to drive with gloves on or not. Okay, our back's sliding off, but that's all right. We're gonna turn into it. We just want to get that front to just kind of gently glide across there. Oh, we just let go. You can see where we were rubbing. All right, I'm gonna try it again. I think the next evolution of this thing would be probably to axle swap it. I'm thinking Capra axles. The problem with Capra axles is you're going even wider, and now if you're not running through gates or anything, you're just trying to, you know, do like some bragging rights lines with your buddies, that's not a big deal. But maybe you have some sort of open class, but they have a more of a class 2 12-inch gate width. Capra axles are going to be a pretty big hindrance. You're going to have very little. You have to get some real low offset wheels. we're at way past the tipping point of this H10. But it's so close to letting loose. Trying to focus on the drive, not the filming, but also show you guys what we're doing here. As soon as it starts to tip or let loose, I'm going to send it. I'm going to give that, we'll say that, we'll give it a half for that gate. You know, half progress. Got through it for the most part, but tumbled and hit the bottom one. But I could sit there and probably do it all day and eventually get it down or get lucky a few times. So let's move on to gate 5. Gate 5 is a doozy. I do want to show it to you. Real jagged. There's a big crack in the middle you don't want to get a tire down in. You're not really going to be able to get out of that. Kind of show you the whole profile here. Nice and wide. I was really trying to accommodate for the limited steering of this H10. And it definitely steers better with the stock knuckles on it. So if you're going to do these brass knuckles from Deluxe, just know you're probably going to have to figure out some steering. This one was pretty tough for the This was a pretty tough gate for the VRD. Giant amounts of overdrive really help. Okay, that happened a few times, the VRD, so it's easy to get your back tires in a spot where they just want to push you over. I think. Okay. We're going to attack it more directly, kind of straight at an angle, 45-degree angle kind of coming into it. Let's see if that helps. That's how the VRD, kind of how I had to finally do it. I think we're just very, very top heavy. Oh. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you have an H10 and what you've done to it. Kind of if you've found, you know, a niche for it, or if it's just kind of a fun trail rig, something to go out and play with. Lots of concerns about the centered gears. Vanquish catching quite a bit of flack about those, but if you are not a subscriber, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm going to be doing a torture test of those gears. I want to see if the concerns are real or if it's just people are just abusing them kind of to no end. We've got kind of a small version of like a Proline by the Fire or something at Cherokee Rock Village, middle of October. So still got a little bit, but I don't know how much I'll get to drive this before then. But my intention is to take this thing out on a long trail there. They have great rocks, but they also have really good trails. And we're going to put big power through it. I'm going to take these machine gears as spares, of course. I don't want to be down a vehicle for the whole weekend, but we're going to see if the old center gears can last. Big wheel speed and some pretty decent mileage. So I'll probably come back to this if I have time, but I've tried this probably over 10 times and haven't really showed major progress. So, but for now, let's move on to gate 6. So gate 6 is kind of similar to the gate 4, the big side hill. Not quite as bad though. You can actually get up here, get a little bit of traction. Sorry about the camera there. We should be able to pull through it. There's a gate on the backside. I needed that real estate up top, so I didn't want to put the gate there. Obviously, absolute ton of room, but again, getting these tennis balls to stick to big, angled surfaces of rock, not exactly easy. But we're through. Let's see if we can nicely transition out of it, though. There we go. Very well done. Not the hardest gate in the world, but this thing has come a long way. I don't want to knock it as a rock crawler. This is all you have, and you kind of want to get into doing some crawling, like technical crawling. It's still a great truck. You're gonna have to spend some money. Lots and lots of drive time will help you too. There's probably people that could drive an RTR and get it through stuff that I can't get this version through. But there's those equal length front and rear lowers. You kind of make this thing prone to high centering. So you got to drive differently. You got to kind of plan accordingly. Try to not allow that to happen. So let's actually practice what I preach and try a different line. So we'll come up right here. VRD kind of just waltzed right through this, but I knew this one would be very, very challenging. The H10. Just the amount of overdrive is not nearly as high, and the VRD was able to take that exact line and steer up and pull up onto that rock and not have to really worry about bellying out. This just doesn't have the steering angle enough to get that bite. Okay. Have to just approach it a little more straight. Now our back tire is fighting us because it's stuck behind this rock. I think if you live on big, nice, smoothed out, I think if your terrain, especially your rocks, are nice, they're a little bit big, more swooping and smoothed out, I think this thing would do even better for you than it does for me. It just, the jagged edges make the high centering a little more dramatic. Yeah, it makes it a little bit tougher, but we'll take a different approach. I'm not gonna give up yet. We're gonna come up here and then we'll come down right there. And we're gonna turn in right there, okay? Get that tire up there, come on. That did not cooperate. In the interest of time, we took a reset. Not a big deal. I've found that some of my favorite vehicles to drive, and I know they're some of my favorites because I rarely reset them by hand. Now, unless you're a stranger to the channel, you guys know that I love Vanquish. I have a lot of their wheels, a lot of their parts. I have their tools, and I love that A lot of their stuff's made in America, but also very little, you know, none of it's made in China. It's all Taiwan. So it's at least not feeding the industrial beast that is China. But weird. This one's proven to be pretty difficult too. But yeah, this is not my favorite, at least in this configuration. And I'll be honest with you, I let you guys vote and kind of let me know what you wanted to see. I'm sorry it's taken so long to kind of. Okay, we're over. It wasn't pretty, but no, don't do that. We're in a bad spot here. Okay. Well, we're gonna pretend like I did not just roll it, because I kind of want to see if it'll do kind of the final portion of this obstacle. We'll see. But yeah, I didn't really want to make this into a crawler. I didn't think with the molded cage and just the way the truck's laid out, I didn't think it was really, you know, in its DNA, at least what it was going to be best suited for. So, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good challenge trying to make this thing do as much as I can. But I'm excited. I still really want to make this into kind of a trail basher, something good wheel speed, hopefully good durability, but you know, a little bit bigger on 2.2s, longer wheelbase versus the shorter wheelbase 1.9 trucks that I primarily have. So, but it's also going to be a great jack of all trades. We're going to do a VFD twin swap, be able to use dig, really, really high overdrive. I think that'll be helpful with the steering situation of this truck. Arguably, it would have helped it as a crawler, but we'll have to leave that for you guys to figure out, or maybe when I do the swap, maybe we'll see, you know, kind of how it does. But I'm gonna kind of putz around here as I give my closing thoughts. But it's been fun. You know, I've enjoyed trying to make it into this. It's not what I originally wanted to do with it, but here we are. And just like any other RC, what you do to them is not permanent. Obviously, you know, you spend money, but you can get money back if you buy good quality parts, upgrades, components. You can usually get a pretty good chunk back. It's the return on resale is not great in RC, but it's even better for good quality stuff. And if you're patient, if you need to sell it that day, you're gonna have to take a pretty good hit on it. But that's gonna do it for the H10 as a crawler. The next time you guys see it, we'll be tearing it apart on the bench, kind of make it into something completely different. It's probably not going to be an iterative type series. It'll probably be kind of a one and done, and you guys will see it periodically, you know, on the channel. But definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Let me know if you're looking forward to that sintered gear torture test, hopefully out at Cherokee Rock Village. I'm hoping I don't blow them up before then. If I do, that answers the question that they are a pretty big liability. So I'm gonna make sure they're shimmed up pretty good, and that's not the cause of anything. And I look forward to taking it out and kind of beating on it a little bit. But that's gonna do it here. Thank you so much for watching. Crazy for KV signing out. We'll see you next time.